Democrats are just 2 days away from the CNN debate, and they find themselves intrigued by a 74-year-old self-described socialist senator who's climbing his way up the early state primary polls with progressive talk that's really exciting the base. And it's a surprise to a lot of Hillary Clinton supporters who thought that the man sitting next to me would be the progressive threat. He is former Maryland Governor Barton O'Malley, and he is joining me live. Thank you so much for coming in. I want to start with what we reported this morning, Jake Tapper's interview with Bradley Podlyska, the now former investigator on the Benghazi committee. How do you think this plays out? Do you think that this proves what Hillary Clinton has said, that this is simply a partisan exercise?
Well, I think it certainly underscores that much of this Benghazi investigation is a partisan exercise. I think we're missing, though, some of the larger lessons of Benghazi, the most important one being this, that we have not, as a nation, made the investments in human intelligence on the ground in these countries that are so unstable and on the verge of nation-state failures, so that we can understand who the new leaders are that are emerging when a dictator's time on this planet comes to an end. I believe that's what Ambassador Stevens was trying to do, but he did not have the tools, and we had not invested as a nation in the intelligence, human intelligence, on-the-ground intelligence necessary to identify the next generation of leaders.
And what this, I guess this whistleblower is saying is that the committee turned too much to focus on emails. You have said that the email issue is an issue for Hillary Clinton. Does it need to be investigated?
Well, I think they're a couple of separate. I think they may well be connected, but I think they're two separate issues. I don't believe that the manufactured aspects of the Benghazi investigations are what they initially purported to be. The email matter and whether or not the secretary violated rules, regulations, laws on having a private server, that's up to her and her campaign and her lawyers to answer, and that's an FBI investigation that'll take a different course.
Let's talk about the debate coming up on Tuesday. You are way behind in the early states, in single digits in most polls. You know, before the campaign, as I mentioned, you were the guy who everybody thought, and more importantly, Hillary Clinton and her campaign thought that they were going to have to worry most about. And it turned to Bernie Sanders. How are you going to turn it back on Tuesday night?
Well, as long as all of us have been engaged in this, and when I say, I mean those of us that are candidates and those of you that follow the candidates, it seems this campaign's been going on for a long time. But for the vast majority of Americans who are searching for a new leader who will move us out of these rather divided and self-defeating times of gridlock and inaction, this race is really just beginning for the Democratic Party. By this time, 8 years ago, we had 9 debates. Now we're going to have our very first debate on Tuesday.
And how are you going to use that to kind of, you know, show America, show Democratic primary voters that you are the alternative to Hillary Clinton? I'm
going to lay out the vision, and not only the vision for the better future we want for our kids, where wages are going up, where opportunities are expanding, but also 15 years of executive experience, which I alone will have on that stage, of actually accomplishing progressive things. It's not about the words, it's about the actions. Things we did in Maryland to pull together new consensus after new consensus to pass a living wage, to pass comprehensive gun safety legislation, to pass the DREAM Act and marriage equality. It's about the doing, not the saying.
Let's talk about a couple of the issues that you would have to deal with if you were the chief executive of the country. A no-fly zone in Syria. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders have actually split on that issue. Hillary Clinton is actually with Senator McCain. She supports a no-fly zone. Bernie Sanders is with President Obama and opposes it. Where are you?
Secretary Clinton's always quick for the military intervention. I believe that a no-fly zone right now is it's not advisable, and this is why. No-fly zones sound attractive, but no-fly zones also have to be enforced. And given the fact that the Russian Air Force is in the airspace over Syria, this could lead to an escalation of Cold War proportions because of an accident, and I don't think that's in the best interest of the United States. There are many fights in this world. Not every fight is our fight. We have to stay engaged there. We have to push back against ISIS. We have to push up the diplomatic pressure to get Russia to focus on ISIS, but I don't believe a no-fly zone is advisable.
You mentioned guns. Hillary Clinton laid out a gun proposal this week where she said, among other things, that there should be executive action, that the president, if she were president, she would act in a way that Congress just hasn't been able to. Did that go far enough?
Well, when I was governor of Maryland, after the slaughter of the innocent in Newtown, Connecticut, we passed comprehensive gun safety legislation. I put forward a plan for what our nation needs to do, and one piece of that, which I put forward, I think, 2 months ago, is that we need to use our procurement, our buying power as a federal government, to insist on the highest and best standards for manufacturers for safety technology, the micro-stamping of the bullets when they're fired so they can be traced back to the gun, serial numbers that can't be effaced. That's part of 4 things we need to do. Background checks with fingerprints and licensing, something we did in Maryland. Banning assault weapons, something we did in Maryland. And also a ban on taking the handcuffs off our own law enforcement agencies and making the trafficking in illegal guns a federal crime. We bury more Americans from gun deaths than virtually than any other developed nation on the planet. It's about leadership, though, Dana. It's not about making the speeches. It's about being able to pull together the consensus, stare down the NRA, and get it done. That's something I've done, and that's something we need to do as a nation.
You mentioned leadership. Hillary Clinton has shifted left on several policy issues over the past couple of weeks and months. The biggest was this past week on a pretty big trade deal that she had once called the gold standard.
She seems to be moving for and was probably an architect of.
So she does seem to be moving in your direction, though, politically. What do you make of that?
We're already affecting the debate. We've got them right where we want them, don't we?
What do you think this says about her and her chances and her sort of viability?
Let me tell you for my part that I was against the Trans-Pacific Partnership 8 months ago because I believe it's bad for the country. Thomas Jefferson once said that in matters of fashion, one should swim with the current, but on matters of principle, one should stand like a rock. I believe that we need to stop stumbling backwards into these bad trade deals that offshore American jobs and American profits. We need to build up our own industries in the United States. Yes, engage in trade, but not at the expense of keeping our eye on the ball, which is more jobs here, a stronger middle class here, wages that go up rather than down. And what we saw from NAFTA was that when you do these trade deals, it opens up the floodgates, and multinational corporations chase cheap labor abroad, use these trade deals to evade environmental protections and standards for workers. That doesn't help the United States here at home. I'm opposed to it, have been for a long time. I didn't shift positions right on the eve of the first Democratic debate.
Speaking of that, very quickly, any pre-debate rituals that you engage in? Special ties, special socks?
More sleep, I hope. We've been going at it pretty hard. I've spent a lot of time in Iowa. We're gaining traction every day. Was endorsed by 13 county chairs in Iowa and continue to go to New Hampshire. The great news about this presidential process is in the early states, it's still very much an intimate one-on-one exercise in every individual matters.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't think it's going to be very intimate on Tuesday night, but we're very much looking forward to it. Appreciate it.
So am I, at
Governor,
last. Hope we have more of them.
Yes, I'm sure you do. Governor, I know you do. Thank you very much.